name is Jane Greenway. I'm the Parks and Land Management Coordinator for Meridian Township. And with me tonight is Kelsey Dillon, our Stewardship Coordinator, also with the Parks and Recreation Department. And we are here tonight, believe it or not, for the 8th year to talk about deer management. So this is something that began in 2011, and each year we come before the Township Board to request permission to go through with the, that doesn't work, does it? No, let's switch sides. We come before the Township Board to seek approval for our program, and occasionally we make some tweaks, and this year we're requesting consideration to add 8 additional properties. The 8 additional properties, and with these 8 we'll have 39 total properties in our program. Those 8 additional properties that we're talking about tonight, 5 of them are land preserves that were acquired last year, and the other 3 are either parks or land preserves that were not previously in the program, but upon closer inspection of the map, we thought that they would be suitable and safe places for deer management. This will bring us to a total of 2,329 acres that we're going to be placing hunters. At this point, we have 75 hunters, again, on these 39 properties, and the program is full. We were able to fit in everyone on the waiting list from last year, but we're comfortable with this number. A lot of the hunters work full-time, and so there's some people that share stands or go out, you know, with a partner in groups, but we definitely have someone placed virtually anywhere we can in the township. And the program is all archery, no firearm, again, as it always is. It runs in the traditional archery season, which is October 1st through January 1st. And that's the same as every year. We operate with disease permits from the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. Those are free of charge for the township. And we utilize township residents as our deer managers. And the township residents they have to go through a background check every year. And then they go to the Michigan State University Archery Center on Jolly Road, and we hold an archery workshop where we talk about the program and the importance of safety, and that people are watching you and, you know, always having good behavior and good ethics out in the field. And then they go through a proficiency test to make sure that they're suitable for the program. Last week, we mailed out over 700 letters to adjacent property owners. So if someone lives next to one of these properties, they should have received a letter stating that there will be deer management conducted on the park or land preserve near their home. We also post these signs. I'll put this up. And we are still in the process of posting some of these signs, but these are the signs that go at all the trailheads and on the edges of the property, letting people know that the deer management program is going on. But with that said, all of our parks and land preserves are open during this to walkers, and we have never had a problem. Our deer managers are well off the trails. Really, these, you know, dog walkers or people walking, it does kind of mess up their hunt, and that's all right. Everyone has been able to enjoy and utilize these parks and land preserves during this program. In addition, the hunters, when they are on a property, they're required to have a pink deer manager sign on their dashboard. So if any residents see an unusual car that they're not used to seeing on the street near their house, rest assured, if it has a pink sign in it, they're there for the deer management program. And these hunters this is a highly managed program, lots of rules and regulations. They're required to check in and out at the end of each day. It's not just a free-for-all. They are assigned to specific properties. They tell us where their stand locations are, and they coordinate their stand locations with the other hunters. So there's a lot of thought that goes into this, and a lot of attention and care to the fact that we do have deer management going on these properties. And I'm going to let Kelsey Dillon talk a little bit about the ecological damage. We're doing this in response to our residents who call with lots of complaint about landscaping damage and car accidents. But the flip side of that is the ecological damage from a management perspective in the parks. So I'm going to let Kelsey take that.
Just wanted to make a couple quick comments. Again, I'm Kelsey Dillon, the Stewardship Coordinator and Park Naturalist. And the overpopulation of deer in Meridian Township, I'm sure everybody has had, some run-ins with deer on the roads, but beyond just that, they are severely damaging our natural areas. That's the land preserves and the parks. Most notably, it is in the damage to young trees. So we're not getting forest regeneration, which is a very important part of an ecological process of a forest. So we are not seeing young trees grow beyond, a couple feet tall because they keep getting, bitten off at the top, so they look more like small bushes. So this is a very clear indication that there are too many deer. They are not being, they're just overpopulation. Also, we are doing a intensive reforestation, a hands-on reforestation in one of our preserves in the Tower Woods neighborhood, Tower Woods Preserve, and we have planted over 4,000 trees, and 3,000 of those were planted without any type of protection, and they were actually pine species, which is not, a super preferred food of the deer, but one bad winter and we lost about 90% of those pine trees. So now in Tower Woods, we have to use Blue X tubes, which are a type of protective measure against the deer. So it is a financial cost that we incur because of this deer overpopulation. So beyond just what you see in your backyards as far as damage to landscaping, deer collisions, car damage, we're also seeing a lot of ecological damage. We are also playing host to the MSU study in response to chronic wasting disease, which was found in the township. And that study is in multiple parks and land preserves, and they are collared deer that Jonathan Trudeau, a PhD student, along with the Michigan DNR and the USDA, are tracking movements of mostly does and how they're moving throughout the township to track the chronic wasting disease. So really through this program, we're playing a part in ecological restoration, and we're also playing a part partnering with MSU on a very large study to try to help chronic wasting disease, not only in our own township, but inform it throughout Michigan as it's spreading.
So in conclusion, it's working. And I can report that I get far fewer calls than I did 8 years ago, far fewer. So we still do get calls, but not as many. Our residents seem to be very comfortable with this program. And I think that we've proven that it's successful, that it can be done safely and successfully. Now, we don't have a lot of metrics to measure this by, but we do have information on reported deer car collisions, and those are finally going down. Not in a huge number, but they're going down. In 2017, there were 164 reported deer car collisions in Meridian, and that's just reported. And last year, it was 129. But I think that the real telling thing is that I'm getting fewer calls. Now, we still do get a lot of calls from certain areas on the river and things like that where you would expect deer to be, but I think that we've proven that this can be done successfully and in a fun way. A side note is that the hunters thoroughly enjoy themselves and love the opportunity for outdoor recreation. They act as the eyes and ears of our parks and land preserves, and that's a great thing because we can't be in over 2,000 acres. And these guys take a lot of pride in these areas and, always bring a bag with them, pick up trash, and they report to me that nearby residents will see them with their deer management hats and thank them and things like that. So a lot of other communities have tried deer management in much more elaborate ways with sterilization and things, and I think that we've really proven that we can try this and be successful at a very low cost. So thank you for your consideration of the new properties.
Treasurer Brixey.
Jane, I have a couple of questions after hearing about your testing. Has anyone ever failed the test?
No one has ever failed the test, but when they go through the equipment check, they also put their bow up on a rack. There's a lot of adjustments that go to that.
Okay. Has anyone ever been kicked out of the program because they didn't follow the rules?
Yes. We last year we had to kick. There's no baiting, and that's a rule that came about after chronic wasting disease. We've kicked someone out for baiting, and someone else who we haven't let people in because of their records.
Okay.
But we have been able to fit everyone in. This year, kind of cool, we have someone in a wheelchair And I'm so glad that we can accommodate him. He's going to be at the Harris Nature Center, so he can go down the paved walk, and he has a partner hunting with him. So that's kind of neat that we can do that opportunity. We also have a new hunter who is visually impaired. Not completely. He can see straight on, but not so much on the periphery. And he has also a partner. And there's different things that help people who are visually impaired hunt. So we're extremely inclusive and try to, make sure everyone is able to participate. Side note, I can't tell you how many people I've had who have said, especially the younger guys that might live in apartments, I moved here because of this, And so that's kind of a neat benefit.
Great.
Clerk Dreyfus.
First of all, congratulations again on a successful program that just keeps going on steadily, and you've had great results, and the program has been, in my opinion, well publicized, well maintained, and has tried to deal with various passionate hunters who have weighed in on various things which you haven't mentioned. There's been issues with people who have been very knowledgeable about various aspects of deer hunting and had their own views and opinions on things, and so I know you've tried to incorporate their input from experienced hunters in the process as well. We received a letter from probably somebody who had moved to the area more recently, and they were concerned about this, so they probably maybe not fully familiar with it as they wrote the letter indicating that. The question that they had, which I would just ask you because it's good to put it out there, is they wanted to know about protective distances from their home, from where the hunting areas are. So how does that work? Are there buffers or distances, or how does that work where there's a property and then there's an adjacent home?
Well, we have aerial photos, and then the hunters pick their stand location. So they tell us where they want to be based on deer behavior patterns, and then we would be the ones to say, we think that's getting a little tight. We don't want to make this person upset. But the state of Michigan did reduce the isolation zone for archery to 0 several years ago. So firearms, you have to be 450 feet from an occupied dwelling, unless you have written permission, and we don't do firearms anyway. But they reduced that number to 0 because of urban deer problems. So theoretically, someone could be pretty close to a house, but we understand that not everyone is in favor of deer management at all. So we try to be respectful to all of them. And we haven't had, I can say, too many problems with that. It's, as you said, Clerk Dreyfus, it might be kind of some of the newer people that are like, what? They're hunting? My kids go back there? And then it turns out to be all right.
Thank you.
Mr. DeShane.
Residents, I'm really glad to hear you're expanding the program, because the comments I get is they're surprised that we have a deer management program because the deer are such a problem still in the township. You mentioned in conclusion that numbers seem down, and I think they've all come to Okemos because
I think you're right, Phil.
Do we have an estimate of the deer population? At one time in the Planning Commission, someone threw out a number of 10,000 deer, which seemed outrageously high, but then again, they seem to be everywhere all the time.
Trying to answer that, Kelsey? We don't have we haven't done a helicopter study, and some other communities have. We just know there's too many. Based on the calls that we get, the car accidents are high compared to other communities, and the ecological damage, but we don't have a specific count. One thing that the collar revealed, we learned that was very interesting. The thought was always that these suburban deer stay really close near the mother, near the female. One of the does had traveled 19 miles. So some pretty interesting information is coming out of these tracking devices. By the way, they're going to fall off. They fall off after 18 months. And if anyone finds one out in the woods, they say Boone and Crockett, the MSU information, and then a phone number. So if anyone finds those, please do call, because I'm sure they're expensive. But those deer are open to hunting. The MSU wants us to treat those deer just like any other deer. We have a picture of them in case anyone hasn't seen these guys with their earrings. They have earrings, and then the tracking collar. So pretty funny. We think the other deer might be laughing at them.
Other board members? Okay, well, thank you so much. I have a quick question.
Yeah.
This program starts October 1st.
Yes.
Would it be helpful if we actually adopted it tonight instead of just discussed it?
It would. It would.
Since we don't meet again until after October 1st.
That's right. And we told the people that are assigned to those 9 new properties that they were not allowed to go out until October 3rd. That would be your second meeting. But I'm sure the people on those 9 properties would be very happy if they could go out there on the opening day of archery season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have, oh, wait a minute, we have our
Supervisor
Parks
Steica, if I
Director.
may. I would just like to publicly commend Jane Greenway, who actually developed this program 8 years ago from scratch when we first started this program, and has made it a model throughout the state of Michigan. And with a program where we're putting, hunting, which can be a very emotional topic for many residents, to be able to put hunters and make them feel part of our community is another whole recreation opportunity, and also be so informative to our community and also serving needs while having a highly managed program that we could get hunters to buy into. It's really been an amazing program that I give her all the credit on this. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and now Kelsey Dillon has stepped in to help. And anyway, I just really commend these two for the great work that they have done with this program.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Lillian.